Hey YouTube, long time seller here, and I've got a new little deal for you. And this is shipping costs and shipping labels. And do I make money off shipping labels? The answer is no. And let me explain to you why. Is I charge shipping. The customer pays for all shipping. Okay. Now I do pay for returns. I offer free returns, and I'm going to show you this year's numbers to date. And you can find this under your Seller Hub here. You can come to payments and down to reports, and you can pull up all these reports, and you can customize right over here where it's this year, or you can last week, last month, last quarter, last year, this year. As a matter of fact, I will put this up at last year, and let's see. All right, last year I had gross sales of $195,000. Okay, now if you'll look down here, shipping and handling was $44,000. So I paid $44,000 for shipping labels. Or I collected, I'm sorry, I collected $44,090.47 from shipping labels. All right, that's my order proceeds here. Here's my refunds. And here on my expenses, you will see for shipping labels, I paid out $44,342.88. So I paid over the course of the entire year, I paid out about $200 out of my own pocket for shipping labels. And that comes down to about $8 or $9 a month. And a lot of that is returns. Now, this doesn't show true shipping numbers because if you add in uh, your poly mailers, your shipping labels, the cost of your printer, your time to go to the post office, your gas down there and back. I make no money in that. Matter of fact, I lose money on shipping. And personally, I believe that's the way it should be. I keep my shipping low because when a customer goes shopping, they're looking at a couple of things. They want the item that they're seeking. They want it in good condition, and they want it at a good price. And I see a lot of times people will have, and if, for instances, when I'm shopping for something, people will have what I want, and I go and I look and say it's a shirt, and they want $10 or $11 for shipping. Well, I know as a seller, it doesn't cost $10 or $11 to ship that shirt to me. Okay, not when you're based here in the United States. Maybe if you were in a foreign country, that would be different, but that's a whole nother line. That's a whole different line. But anyway, so in actuality, I lose money on shipping. I lose two or $300, $250 a year in shipping. Uh, Matter of fact, let me go back. Let me go pick another. Let's go to this year, and I'll show you it's trending the same way here, or it should be. All right, this is this year here. You see, I've already sold almost $64,000. I've paid out $15,860.20 in shipping, and my shipping labels have been 16,349. So actually, this year I'm $500 behind. Uh, that's almost $80, 75, $80 a month, and the reason for that is shipping costs have gone up. They went up in the fall of last year. I think they went up in the spring, and they just went up again. And post office, and not just post office, but FedEx and UPS, everybody, their shipping costs have really skyrocketed. And I have not raised my shipping costs. I have kept my shipping costs the same. When I ship a shirt, it's $5.99 shipping. Pants, jeans, $7.99. That's my standard shipping rate. Sometimes I will ship something to a customer and they pay $5.99, and maybe it costs me $5.30. Well, I didn't make 70 cents off that individual sell because I still have the poly bag to buy, the poly mailer, uh, printing labels, my time, taking it to the post office. So in actuality, I don't make money shipping on shipping labels. I actually lose money. And if you see I feel that if you see a seller that's making money off shipping labels, they're not confident in their product, right? Because I make my money off my product cost. That's where I make my money. I'm not trying to screw the customer over on shipping. I'm trying to offer value shipping. And if I have to lose $60, $70 a month to do 12 or 15,000 a month in sales, I'm cool with that. And some of that is returns. Some of the shipping labels are returns on the expense side because I do offer the free returns. And granted, I don't have a lot of returns. I don't have an and I do not have an abnormal amount of returns. And the reason why is because I take the extra time when I'm listing items. Actually, before I list an item, every single piece of clothing, pre-owned piece of clothing I get, gets run through the wash cycle. And I wash on a delicate cycle with just a small amount of detergent and cheap bargain detergent with no scents and no aromas and no bleach because I don't want colors bleeding fading. I just want them in presentable condition, right? So I wash every single item. I list every item accurately through my listing templates is what helps me do that, and I'm able to create a listing. I can create a listing and photograph that item in under 2 minutes. A lot of times it's about a minute and a half. Actually, the photography takes me longer because I use listing templates. I did a video on that, shows you how to list fast for free because eBay already gives you those tools. And unless you're a big giant seller, there is no reason to pay somebody else to create a listing for you unless you're that busy or you're that lazy or you have that much extra money. I know that's just my point of view on it. So, but anyway, on the shipping labels, I do not make money on shipping labels. I don't try to make money on shipping labels, and I guarantee you, if you went and looked at the numbers of those sellers that sell a shirt and want to charge $10 and $11 shipping, they're trying to make profit off the shipping. Well, some of that is old mentality because there was a time, probably close to 20 years ago on eBay, where and actually it's been less than 20 years, but seller fees did not come out of shipping. It just came out of the product cost. So people would sell an item for $2 and charge you $50 shipping, knowing that eBay's going to take seller fees from the $2 and not touch the $50, and you're going to make that profit. That's why eBay revised their policy and began taking seller fees out of shipping costs. So now when you sell an item, the total cost, the cost of the item and the cost of shipping, then the seller fees come out. And I don't believe it comes out of taxes. Taxes is added on after that. But that's the reason why your seller fees come out of shipping is because people abuse the process that was in place years ago. And it sucks that a few bad people or a few, I'm not going to say they're bad people. Let's call them greedy or ignorant or ethically lax. How about that? Ethically lax people. Instead of paying for the service that eBay's offering you, and you will never hear me complain about eBay fees. eBay fees cost me 13% plus my annual subscription. So you think that that's a lot of money, but when you take into account what eBay provides for that, you see these tools here that I've got, you see the accounting numbers. eBay provides all that stuff. They provide the listing templates and put me in front of 130 million potential customers. You can't pay for advertising like that for what 13% fees. Where are you going to get that customer base at that price? They handle sales tax for each individual state. Used to, sales tax wasn't even collected a lot of times. Now, because online sales grew, taxes are taken out for each state that your item goes to. Now, I don't have to track that. I can see that, but I don't see that in my listing. That's the seller sees or the buyer sees that. I can go and look and see how much tax was paid and all that, but eBay handles all that for each individual state. I don't have to do it. To me, the tools that they provide, the customer base all the easy listing stuff, all these reports and collecting the taxes and the international shipping is well worth the 13%. And I understand I got a little bit off topic because I started with shipping and now I'm over here on eBay fees, but it always irritated me when I was a seller when I would have a meeting with other sellers and somebody would call it feebay, FEE, feebay. And that always irritated me because they were looking at the wrong way. They're looking at a little 13% and not looking at what they're giving you and the services that they're providing. That is, I guarantee you, that's worth more like 30 or 40% when you put it in. If I had to figure out taxes to each individual state before a payment process, I don't have time for that. Time is money, right? eBay's handling that for me. eBay's spending the time for that 13%, and I am more than comfortable with it. But anyway, back on topic here. Uh, I do not make money off shipping labels. Actually, I'd make a little bit less. I hopefully I will make it this year without having to raise my shipping costs. Starting next year, I may need to bump it up a little bit, but it's going to depend on how much the post office raises rates this Q4, and they will raise rates Q4. They always do this. What the post office will do is they'll bump the rates up. Say they go up $1. Well, then come January, they'll lower it, but they'll only lower it by like 40 cents. They do this every year, so that's the way they say. Hey, it's a temporary Q4 shipping charge. Well, yeah, it's kind of temporary, but they also sneak in that little raise because you don't get all that back come January. It just drops a little bit, and then they're going to do a mid-year raise again. So anyway, I'm trying as long as I watch these numbers, and if I see them starting to get out of hand, and then I will have to increase my shipping prices. But that is a price that I am trying to keep low because I guarantee you, when you're after you've met the selling points of the item has found your customer by your keywords, they've seen the picture, they've seen the price, everything looks good, and they buy it. Shipping cost is that fourth thing. Because I've done this myself. I found out, I'm like, oh man, that's nice. I want that, and it's something that I need, and I go to buy it, and I look at the shipping cost, and they want $11 for an item I know is going to cost $5 to ship. Well, basically, f you. I'm not buying your product because of that. Because I will go find somebody else that's selling the same item for maybe a buck or two more, but has reasonable shipping rates. So that's why I do not try to make money off shipping fees. I think you lose more customers on the end than you gain, and more than you'll profit, you'll gain. And so it's good to watch these expenses and reports and see what your shipping costs, how much you're collecting, and how much you're paying out, and make sure it's not out of whack and it's balanced so you can adjust. And I try to keep mine real close where I don't want to. I'm not trying to collect any money, but I don't want to pay out a bunch of money either, though. So mine is still in balance because my refunds, you'll see here, my refunds for the year were $2,200 now, or actually 23.45 in all. Uh, and I paid shipping labels for all that, so that's the imbalance there. But that's enough for me to absorb because uh, on my average shipping label so far, it looks like I'm probably down about 1,000 at the end of the year. I should be 1,000 a year down, which is about $85 or $90 a month. And some of that you take the returns out of there because I have free returns. I'm probably around $50 a month of shipping fees that come out of my pocket, not counting labels, printer, time, poly bags. So I'm probably losing 100. I'm not necessarily losing 100 to 100 and a half a month is costing me to ship items to customers because I don't make a profit on shipping. Now, to me, because of my sales, when I'm running at least 10,000 a month in sales, that 150 is an absorbable cost. Now, if you're selling 300 a month, that 150 is not feasible. So go in there and look at your order me under your reports under the financial overview and see what it's actually costing you in your shipping, and you can adjust. Because let me tell you something: if you see that you're making several $1,000s off shipping labels, I would go in there and tweak my shipping labels down a little bit to make that number more break even, because I guarantee you a bargain shipping rate will gain a customer. An increased or overinflated shipping label will has potential to lose a customer. Alrighty. Well, I just want to go over this with y'all on shipping labels and kind of how they are and why they are what they are, and why I don't make money off shipping labels. And this is something, please, I hope this helps you out there be a better seller, a more profitable seller. And remember, an exorbitant shipping fee will lose a customer, because it loses me every single time I buy something. And I buy a lot of things online. I'm an online seller and I'm an online customer, and I know many of us are. So those of you out there, other sellers, you like this content, let me know. Comment, ask questions that you have. If you have any questions about these reports, where to find them, how to figure them out, hey, give me a holler and I'll see what I can do to help you out. Alrighty. Hey, well, this is Longtime Seller. Gonna bounce on out of here, and hopefully Q4 of 2025 is going to be a blowout year compared to last year. All right. Hey, everybody, have a great day.